Hello and welcome everyone to the Pinterest Path to Performance webinar. We are all so thrilled to have you join us today to talk about maximizing your performance campaigns on Pinterest. My name is Jenny Kindness. I'm a lead product marketing manager here at Pinterest, and I'm very excited to be joined today by Andy, who is our global head of brand and creative strategy, along with our performance solution leads, including Lorna, Veronica, and James. Together, and over the next 45 minutes or so, we're going to be introducing and diving deeper into the Pinterest Path to Performance, which is a series of tactics and best practices that can help you improve the performance of your campaigns on Pinterest. Now, if you have any questions throughout the webinar, we are going to be saving some time at the end for Q&A. So make sure you note those down so we can address those closer to the end of the presentation. So with that, let's dive in. When you think about where Pinterest fits in your digital marketing strategy, historically, you might default to considering leveraging Pinterest to support upper funnel marketing strategies, focusing on either building brand awareness and managing branded campaigns. But we're here today to tell you that we are so much more than that. Specifically over the past year, in addition to delivering against brand metrics, we've really upscaled our capability to help you generate more success with your lower funnel strategies to drive more clicks and purchases, and effectively capture users on Pinterest who want to take action. We truly believe there's never been a better time to invest in performance campaigns on Pinterest. In fact, not only do Pinterest users want to take action on the platform, there are thousands of advertisers who come already every day to Pinterest to build comprehensive performance campaigns. And by adopting the right efforts and tactics, advertisers can truly find great success on Pinterest. However, we also know that when it comes to performance campaigns, it can be a little bit overwhelming on exactly what to focus on. So we want to make things easier for you. We've looked across hundreds of campaigns to synthesize the most important focus areas and tactics to really help you optimize your performance campaigns on Pinterest. So what that looks like are 4 focus areas we're calling Pinterest's Path to Performance. The goal of this webinar is to introduce and walk you through each of these in more detail. Now, before we do that, I do want to spend a little bit more time around how conversions and performance works on Pinterest and why it is an effective platform for you to invest your dollars behind. To start, we want to talk about who the Pinterest user is. And that's really critical. As you know very well, when developing successful campaigns, there is a real understanding and requirement to get a sense of how users engage with that specific platform. And on Pinterest, people are here with intent and they're ready to make plans. They're thinking about the future versus looking back. Now, they might not visit daily, but when they do, they tend to stay longer on the platform to make those plans. They are also multi-session users, coming to the platform, leaving, and coming back and picking up right where they left off as they move towards converting a plan into a purchase. So as a result of this, implementing a broad strategy on Pinterest is really essential to capture your audience. In fact, if you make your Pinterest campaigns overly complex or detailed, they might not necessarily perform as effectively as you anticipate. And so how does moving from a plan to a purchase look like on Pinterest? Let's look at an example that you see on the screen here. So a user here is looking to bring some of their own style to their work. And what they do is they might start looking at the home feed, browsing for some inspiration, and that sparks an idea to look further. And they go right from the home feed to the search page. On search, they start searching for work outfits and saving content that interests them, including ads. And on Pinterest, ads appear in relevant contexts, seamlessly fitting into a user's search results. In fact, we know that 2 and 3 weekly Pinterest users say ads on the platform fit their mindset while they're browsing. They then start planning. And they use boards to be able to do this by organizing the ideas in their staves all into one board to really start to get them primed to purchase. And then finally, the Pinterest user will take action and they'll purchase what they saved. And we know that Pinterest users are 7 times more likely to purchase what they've saved. So what you'll notice from this example is the user's mindset changes as they move across the funnel on Pinterest from discovery to making decisions to finally taking an action. And that's pretty unique. And when we consider this behavior to other popular advertising platforms, people might visit a search engine or social media platforms more frequently, perhaps on a daily basis, or even sometimes several times throughout the day, and potentially with a different mindset and intention. For example, browsing versus taking an action. So this frequent usage and the different mindset offers you the opportunity to reach your audience more repeatedly. And as a result, you might need to implement a more granular approach when developing strategies for these advertising platforms to ensure that your campaigns perform well. For example, on a social media platform, users are actively scrolling their feeds, seeing both organic and paid content. You might use strategies like lookalikes, customer lists, and interest targeting to reach broader audiences. On the other hand, search engine platforms operate on user intent, where people use specific keywords to search for branded and unbranded items. You, in turn, can target with precision based on search queries, focusing on user intent, real-time data, and demographics. Now, despite the uniqueness of these platforms, as we map this back to the example that I just shared with you about how plans turn to a purchase on Pinterest, if we applied these same strategies and more complex structures directly to campaigns on Pinterest, this approach might not necessarily set you up for success. And why is this specifically? Well, when we think about Pinterest, it's important to realize that our platform has to use both surfaces and has different mindsets for each. On the home feed, we can resemble something to scrolling behavior present on other social media platforms, including people scrolling to look for inspiration. On the search page, there's a similarity to the approach used by search engines, where people can search by topic or keyword to decide and purchase. In essence, Pinterest combines elements from different platforms, offering the best of both worlds, search and feed. However, it is this distinction that also makes Pinterest unique. So just as trying to fit a square peg into a round hole, attempting to directly replicate your strategy from other platforms won't work on Pinterest. Instead, we've identified 4 of the most critical tactics and best practices that we recommend you implement when building your performance campaigns on Pinterest to help maximize success. These don't necessarily require an entirely new approach to build your product performance strategies and set up. It's just more adjusting to make sure that you get the most out of the investments that you are making on Pinterest, and you can truly see how powerful it can be to deliver your performance goals on this platform. So with that, I'm going to welcome Veronica, James, Lorna, and Andy to talk through these 4 areas in more detail.
Thanks, Jenny. Hi, everyone. My name is Veronica, and I'm a performance solutions lead here at Pinterest. As Jenny mentioned earlier, we've looked across hundreds of campaigns with the goal of identifying the most important strategies and tactics to help enhance your campaign performance on Pinterest. We've narrowed down our findings to 4 main focus areas that we call the Pinterest path to performance. So now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce you to each of the paths within the path to performance. They are, number 1, adopt Pinterest lower funnel advertiser solution. 2, monitor your feed's health score to identify areas for optimization. 3, build your campaigns with the MECE approach to maximize performance learnings. And 4, refine your creative visuals every 3 months to increase engagement. So let's dive deeper into the first path. Pinterest path to performance begins by adopting our lower funnel advertiser solution. This lower funnel solution is really the foundation to performance on our platform and is comprised of various tactics, formats, and tools. This new holistic solution is designed to drive better results for your lower funnel. From serving the right pin to your pinner, to directing users directly to your app or site, to capture user actions to provide you with comprehensive insights behind which pins are driving performance for you, we have a comprehensive solution to help maximize performance on Pinterest. And of course, this all starts with our shopping ads format. If you have a product catalog on Pinterest, then we highly recommend leveraging shopping ads. They're a really great way to promote your products and increase your reach on the platform. But what about all the other formats that drive clicks and conversions in the lower funnel? Well, enter mobile deep links and direct links. Mobile deep links allow you to easily connect Pinterest ads to your app, guiding shoppers to engage in actions and make purchases directly within the app. Direct links allow you to guide shoppers directly from your ad to your website in just one click, reducing friction by removing those extra clicks and making it even easier to capture conversions and shopper intent. Direct links is currently in beta, but our initial testing has already shown promising results, driving an 88% increase in clicks for advertisers. And last but not least, we have the Pinterest API for Conversions, which is a tagless server-to-server solution that enables you to automatically send web, in-app, or offline conversions directly to Pinterest in real time or in batches. When using both the Conversion API and the Pinterest tag together, advertisers running OCPM campaigns have, on average, seen up to a 15% CPA improvement compared to when only using the tag. So let's explore each of these in a little bit more detail, starting with shopping ads. So for shoppers to view your products on Pinterest, the very first step is to upload your product catalog to the platform. Uploading your catalog automatically creates organic product pins that are visible to potential shoppers. Now, what the shopping ad format does is that it takes those same organic product pins and promotes them as ads. With shopping ads, you have the option to showcase a product or even a set of products and can include information like product name, pricing, and description. Shopping ads are a great format to leverage when you want to boost reach and conversions of product pins across the platform. In fact, we've seen that brands who've added shopping ads into their media mix have seen 15% higher ROAS and 2.6x higher conversion rates. Next, let's touch on mobile deep links. So what exactly are mobile deep links? Well, mobile deep links allow you to take shoppers from your Pinterest ad directly to pages within your native app. This helps make the shopping experience a lot more seamless and encourages shoppers to take more actions and complete purchases right within your app. Mobile deep links have only been available to advertisers since July, and I'm happy to report that results so far have been really pretty impressive, with an increase of 235% in conversion rate and 34% lower CPAs. To build on this momentum from mobile deep links, Pinterest is committed to continue to innovate and offer even more direct-to-site capabilities in the back half of the year. For example, we're currently beta testing direct links, which removes extra clicks for your advertiser, leading them from your ad directly to your website and driving even more traffic and consideration for your brand and products. Okay, so now that we have a little bit more information on shopping ads, mobile deep links, and direct links, let's switch it up a little bit and learn a little bit more about the Pinterest API for Conversions. In simple terms, the API for Conversions allows you to send your conversion data directly to Pinterest via a server-to-server connection. This means you can accurately track conversions from your website without having to rely on things like tags or pixels. With the API for Conversions, you'll never have to worry about duplicate data. So let's say, for example, you have the Pinterest tag and the API for Conversions implemented at the same time. Pinterest will automatically handle deduping data to ensure you're never double counting and you're seeing the most accurate and reliable results. The API is also a great solution for enhancing your conversion optimization. With the API, you'll have a greater understanding into which actions on your website are leading to conversions. This insight can help you refine your strategies, optimize your campaigns, and improve your overall performance on Pinterest. Now that you know what the API for Conversions is, let's take a look at how real-life business Kadeve leveraged the API. So Kadeve is the second largest luxury department store in Europe. They recognized the urgency of future-proofing their presence on Pinterest, and they knew it was only a matter of time before they started losing visibility into offsite signals. So with the help of Pinterest's technical team, they were able to quickly implement the API for conversions. They did this alongside the Pinterest tag, meaning they had both the tag and the API for conversions implemented at the same time to measure their conversions. With this implementation, they saw a significant improvement in campaign performance visibility, with a 133% lift in attributed checkouts and a 57% improvement in checkout CPAs across their conversion campaigns. Now Kidewe is on track to ensure their performance measurement on Pinterest remains robust and effective, despite all of the privacy challenges facing our industry. Okay, so I know what you're all thinking. Those Kidewe numbers were really impressive. How can I implement the API for conversions? Well, let's talk about it. The first way you can implement the API for conversions is through direct integration with the help of a developer. If you want to go down this route, we recommend using the Pinterest developer platform or checking out our Implementing the Pinterest API for Conversions course on Pinterest Academy. But if you don't have a developer, no problem. You can also implement the API for conversions via third-party integration. We partner with various third-party partners, for example, e-commerce platforms like Adobe Commerce or Shopify, and we also work with data attribution platforms like Branch or Tealium. So before we wrap up this section, let's review a few key takeaways. The first step in the Pinterest path to performance is adopting a holistic solution to drive your lower funnel strategy. This solution is powered by shopping ads, which enable you to reach shoppers when they're most likely to act, mobile deep links, which make shopping easier and encourage more in-app actions and purchases, direct links, which guide your audience directly to your website to drive traffic and conversions, and finally, the Pinterest API for conversions. And implementing the API will allow you to navigate recent privacy changes with much more ease. And now I'll hand it off to James to discuss the next section.
Awesome. Thanks, Veronica. Hi, I'm James. I'm also a Performance Solutions Lead here at Pinterest. And today I'll be walking you through the second tactic in our Pinterest path to performance, how to monitor and optimize your feed's health. Now, in the previous section, we identified shopping as a key element of our Pinterest holistic lower funnel solution. Unlocking the power of shopping relies heavily on the quality of your shopping feed. So in this section, I'll be walking you through how the quantity and quality of data in your feed helps improve relevancy, increase scale, and ultimately drive stronger shopping performance. Before we do that, let's get back to basics. So let's start with a quick refresher. A feed, which can also be known as a product catalog, data source, or data feed, is a file with a list of your products and their corresponding attributes. Each row represents a product, and each column has details or metadata about those products. This feed is typically used by e-commerce and retail businesses to upload their products to an advertising platform like Pinterest. When you upload your product feed to Pinterest, two key things happen in our system. One, it creates a product pin for each product on your feed. And number two, it uses metadata provided in your feed like titles, descriptions, and product categories to connect your shopping pins with relevant keywords and interest categories. The connection between the data in your feed and our targetable attributes will determine how relevant your products are to matching queries from your high-value audiences. And this connection is what we're most concerned about when we talk about optimizing your feed. So at Pinterest, we consistently see that more relevant ads see more delivery, more clicks, decrease cost per click, and drive more conversions. And when it comes to shopping performance, relevance is largely determined by metadata associated with each pin in your product feed. This means that the more details you provide in your feed, the better our algorithm can prioritize your products to the right people in the right mindset at the right moment, boosting interaction and leading to more qualified clicks at a lower cost. So optimizing your feed will help improve favorability in our auction, increase reach and relevancy, and ultimately boost shopping performance against your lower funnel KPIs. Now, we know that your feed can sometimes feel like that closet in your house that you never want to open because the thought of organizing it can feel overwhelming. But it's important to know what happens when you don't clean up your feed closet. and how it could be limiting your shopping performance. First of all, your product pins won't show up against matching queries as frequently, or sometimes won't show up at all. Competitors will take up more space in the auction, reducing your ad visibility. And finally, it costs you more money to get your ads to show, as bids will increase to compensate lower relevancy of your pins. So beyond any specific campaign setup or optimizations you make in our platform, improving your feed health is a significant driver of performance. So cleaning up that closet is definitely worth it. At Pinterest, we're trying to take steps to make it easier or make feed optimization easier for our partners. We've actually developed the feed health score to help merchants quickly understand the health of their feeds, easily diagnose any blockers to performance, and provide specific recommendations to improve feed quality. In simple terms, the feed health score is a scoring system from 0 to 100 that we use to evaluate every merchant's product feed based on the quantity and quality of metadata available for campaign optimization. We take the key elements common to all shopping feeds and rank them based on their anticipated impact on performance. The output is a series of targeted optimizations that you or the team who manages your feed can use to take the required actions to improve your feed quality. Please note, you'll need to reach out to your Pinterest account manager to find out what your feed health score is, but I'm sure they'll be happy to help you get to the answers. Using the feed health score, we can segment your shopping feeds into one of the 4 buckets listed here based on the percentage of pins that are optimized for performance. If you are healthy, this means that over 80% of your pins are optimized, in which case, great job. You're in good shape to launch your shopping campaigns, but continue to monitor this day to day as things can change. If you are in the warning bucket, this means that between 60 to 80% of your pins are optimized. And at this stage, we recommend you take a closer look at your feed to identify opportunities for improvement. Unhealthy is where we're really getting concerned. And this means that less than 60% of your pins are optimized for shopping. If your score falls in this bucket, it means there's a huge chance that you're missing out on impressions, clicks, and more. Finally, if you don't have a score, it likely means there's a problem uploading your catalog due to a file level failure. I encourage you to look into Ads Manager, as we'll likely have more information on why this might be happening, or reach out for support. So how is this feed score actually computed? So every feed is as unique as the products contained within it, but there are certain foundational elements that are common across all shopping feeds that we use to compute your feed health score. It starts with the non-negotiables. Basically, we need the feed to be uploaded successfully in order for us to calculate a score. So make sure you're checking to make sure every day to see if that your catalog is being uploaded successfully. Secondly, we have the additive layer. This is where we're concerned with the ingestion rate, or how many of the items you have uploaded were successfully validated and are ready to be promoted on our platform. And finally, where we'll spend most of our time today is on the deductibles. Basically, we have a series of qualitative and quantitative metrics that highlight where metadata can be optimized. So yes, every feed may have unique areas for improvement, but there are common challenges that we can avoid that we've summarized for you in this training. Today, we'll arm you with 5 tips that can help you proactively optimize your feeds and avoid falling in the dreaded unhealthy bucket. Tip number 1, optimize your feed by adding more data. Remember, the metadata in your feed helps our system connect your shopping pins with relevant keywords and interest, and ensures you show up against matching queries from those high-value audiences. Tip number 2, use keywords in your titles and descriptions. Think of your titles and descriptions the same way you would use a keyword strategy in platform. For example, in the pin featured on this slide, the title and description have several keywords that our system can use to target this product to people who are looking for fans with these or similar features. Tip number 3, use detailed product categorization. Now, product categorization is going to help with 2 things, your discoverability and relevance. By categorizing your products accurately, your shopping pins will be more discoverable by showing up against more searches in interest categories on Pinterest. It also helps ensure that your pins are relevant to audiences interested in those specific products as their purchase journey gets more refined. So if we take the dress example included on the slide, yes, we want this dress to show up broadly as pinners are starting their clothing purchase journey. But we also want to make sure that we're getting more specific as pinners get more specific in what they're looking for. So we don't want this dress to show up if someone is searching for a workout outfit, for example. Tip number 4, segment your products into product groups. Think of product groups as the different sections of a retail store or the categories on your site. As customers, we don't arrive to find all the items in a pile in the middle of the store. Instead, products are segmented into aisles by type to make it easier for our customers to find the products they're looking for. It also helps the store understand which product categories are flying off the shelves and update their promotional strategies as a result. On Pinterest, it's the same thing. We're segmenting your product groups will help you understand how each category is performing in detail, giving you a better picture of which type of products are performing well and the ability to optimize accordingly. Last but not least, if we can get to the next slide, avoid targeting restrictions. So trust the feed to do its job and avoid adding additional targeting restrictions on your shopping campaigns. When we connect the detailed metadata in your shopping feed with Pinterest's high-quality signals of intent, we have a powerful combination that is highly capable of reaching the people who are most interested in what you offer. So we recommend letting your feed take care of the targeting for you. You likely don't need to layer on targeting restrictions, as these may actually hinder the effectiveness of tips 1 through 4 and make it harder for your pins to reach the right audience. So before we wrap up this section, let's review some of the key takeaways. Number 1, improving your feed health is a key driver of shopping performance, as it helps improve favorability in our auction, increase reach and relevance, and ultimately boost your shopping performance. In order to optimize your feed, leverage the feed health score to identify areas in your feed that need optimization. Reminder, reach out to your Pinterest account manager to find out what your feed health score is. And finally, implement the following tips to optimize your feed for performance. Add more metadata to your feed, use keywords in your titles and descriptions, use detailed product categorization, segment your products into relevant product groups, and avoid targeting restrictions. And with that, I'll hand it over to Lorna to discuss the next section.
Thanks, James. Hi, everyone. My name is Lorna, and similar to Veronica and James, I'm also part of the Performance Solutions team at Pinterest. So I will be walking through the third path to performance, which is using a MECE approach when setting up your campaigns. We recommend this approach as it allows you to gather insights into your campaigns, which can then help improve your campaign performance and set you up for long-term success. As Jenny mentioned earlier, our platform is unique as we see differences in how people use our platform on home feed versus on search. So on home feed, they're browsing, looking for inspiration, whereas on search, they are planning and searching for specific topics or keywords. So keep that in mind for the rest of this section. Okay, so taking a step back, you're probably thinking, what is MECE? Well, MECE is not actually a Pinterest invented term. The idea comes from a probability theory stating that two events cannot happen at the same time. So ME stands for mutually exclusive, which means they are distinct and not overlapping. And then CE stands for collectively exhaustive, which means they cover all solutions and possible outcomes. So when do we recommend implementing the MECE approach? Or sorry, why do we recommend implementing the MECE approach? Well, because using this method allows you to build smarter, more targeted, and more transparent campaign algorithms, allowing you to make more informed decisions. So let's dive a little deeper into what that means. This setup allows you to, number 1, manage audience overlap. Overlap happens when multiple campaigns or ad groups compete for the same auction. So to prevent self-bidding, only one ad group per advertiser can enter the auction. Number 2, it helps enhance diagnostics and optimizations. So by categorizing the audience into clear and separate groups, you can assess how each segment performs independently. This then helps identify which segments respond well to which ads and which don't. And then that in turn then facilitates untapped test and learn opportunities. So by dividing audiences, you can adjust or try new strategies on specific groups without affecting the others, which helps you identify effective approaches for each segment. Now, let's look at what that means from a campaign setup point of view, and let's look at it also from the perspective of a funnel, as I'm sure that's how you build your marketing strategies. So for the time being, we recommend implementing the MECE approach only for your lower funnel campaigns. So that's both the catalog and conversion objective, and not on your awareness or consideration campaign. So we'll be just speaking about the bottom of the funnel here, but we would hope that you'll also be running upper and mid funnel campaigns on top of these, as they will complement them nicely. So in order to implement the MECE approach for conversion and catalog sale campaigns, you'll need to create several distinct campaigns. So going back to MECE, the mutually exclusive, under mutually exclusive, we see 5 separate campaigns, each targeting a different audience and a different placement, either the home feed or search side of our platform, and guiding people towards the bottom of the funnel. Then under collectively exhaustive, you can see that running these 5 campaigns together will give you a comprehensive look at your performance throughout all segments, ensuring that you're reaching your desired audience no matter what actions they're taking or where they are on the platform. So in other words, the MECE approach offers the ability to test and compare results effectively, as each campaign is structured to target specific placements or audiences. You can measure the performance of each campaign independently, allowing you to identify what's working and where the improvements are needed. Also, as a reminder, we recommend to set this up for both the conversion and catalog objectives. The only difference between the two is that dynamic retargeting will only be available on the catalog objective. So the blue box at the lower part of the funnel will only be available for catalog. So how can you make sure that you implement MECE correctly? Well, consider the following things when building your campaigns. Number 1 is to think diverse campaigns. So create at least 5 distinct campaigns, each with a specific focus on the funnel. This prevents overlap and ensures a well-structured approach. Number 2, consider audience targeting. So tailor campaigns to unique audience segments, catering to newcomers, past visitors, and product interests on your site. And number 3, leverage placement splits. So again, going back to our home feed and search side of our platform, we recommend setting up unique campaigns for each so that the algorithm can then better optimize towards the unique learning that comes from each side of our platform. The 4th point then is to think about full funnel coverage. So ensure campaigns cover the entire customer journey, guiding potential customers towards the bottom of the funnel. And then finally, test and optimize. So we recommend you regularly monitor individual campaign performance. By doing so, then you can fine tune strategies based on their performance and making the approach more effective over time. Okay, so as you just saw, implementing the MECE approach can help improve the performance of your campaign. But what are some ways you can further optimize this approach? We recommend to start with equal budget splits across each of the campaigns. This way, each campaign gets a fair share of resources, and then you can compare their performance in a like-for-like manner, which will allow you to clearly see what is working and what needs attention. As your campaigns begin to make progress and you can then assess their performance, you have the flexibility to adjust the budget accordingly then. So for example, you can put more funds into campaigns that are showing better results, and then fine tune your approaches based on how each campaign is doing. So the strategy can actually be applied through all campaign objectives on Pinterest as well. Another point then when thinking about catalog specific campaigns is to consider product group granularity. So we recommend to use product group segmentation rather than leveraging all products together. We've learned that our algorithm does best with a more granular product group segmentation. So think like categories or like performance products, for example, jeans grouped together, swimwear, tops, accessories, etc. We also recommend to use a one-to-one relationship between ad groups and product groups. So for example, if you're using all products in an ad group, then every product within that catalog is receiving the same bid, but the prices of these products could vastly differ. So setting things up in a way that allows like categories to be part of the same bid, again, will power our algorithm to be smarter. And that is it from me. Let's just take a moment to review the key takeaways for this section. So MECE stands for mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. This approach allows you to test and experiment in an organized and comprehensive manner. We recommend that you start with equal budget splits and then later adjust based on campaign performance. And then finally, for catalog sale campaigns, use granular product group segmentation and a one-to-one ad group to product group alignment for smarter bidding. And now I'll hand over to Andy to cover our final section.
Thanks, Lorna. Hey, everybody. My name is Andy Holton, and I lead the brand and creative strategy team here at Pinterest. I'm here to discuss the fourth tactic in the Pinterest path to performance, leveraging visual storytelling in your creative. In today's competitive auction-based advertising ecosystem, better creative has a significant advantage. And Pinterest considers several factors when determining ad placement. And ad quality is one of the most crucial. So this section is important. By adding high quality, captivating, and relevant creative to your campaign, you can enhance the relevance of your ads, which leads to higher click-through rate and ultimately more conversions. Additionally, you can reach your target audience in a more effective and efficient manner. Let's get into it. Pinterest is a visual platform. I think we all know this. But what this means is that visual storytelling will be key to ensuring you have a successful campaign performance. Visual storytelling can take place in a single piece of content, such as a static ad or a video ad, or it can be achieved over the course of several connected and complementary pieces of content or creative. Let's talk about how visual storytelling can help you in your campaign. Brands can create compelling narratives that resonate with the audience on a personal level by showcasing how products or services in action and in context of the audience's life. Secondly, visual storytelling can also significantly enhance campaign performance on the platform by driving longer engagement, leading to more website visits, pin saves, and ultimately conversions. Pinterest offers a suite of ad formats that help you bring your storytelling to life and increase your lower funnel performance on the platform. I'm going to briefly touch on each here. When it comes to ad formats for driving conversions, shopping ads offer advertisers the ability to turn their product pins into ads, which take shoppers directly to the product landing page for a seamless user and purchase experience. With carousel ads, you can showcase various aspects of a product, promote multiple products at once, or even tell a story about your brand in different parts. And then you can use collection ads alongside either of these two previous formats to encourage people to buy more, as collection ads are known to increase that important basket size. And if you're in the travel business, travel catalogs on Pinterest are a game changer. You can upload your catalog and run ads on thousands of travel listings. Lots of pinners are into travel on Pinterest, so this can help them turn their dream travel ideas and boards into real-life bookings. And then to boost your holiday sales, consider using video shopping ads. They engage users with sight, sound, and motion, and they also help them learn more about your products. Video shopping ads are coming in Q1 2024 and will be available in all shopping markets. And then last but not least, lead ads allow people on Pinterest to easily submit their information via native lead forms, all while staying on the platform. Lead ads work well for things like gathering emails, building an audience, signing up for loyalty programs, getting quotes, making more complex purchases like a car, signing up for events, booking appointments, and more. Now that we know the types of ad formats that are available on Pinterest, let's explore how to make the most of your creative visuals for your campaigns. When it comes to the lower funnel, merely showing a product image isn't going to be enough. Advertisers must think about the overall context and the visually creative environment where their ad's going to be seen. To improve success, let's walk through the 5 creative best practices that you can implement to optimize your creative visuals on Pinterest. All right, number one, use product-focused and lifestyle images. A product image shows the product itself. A lifestyle image shows the product being used. We recommend including both lifestyle and product images on your feed to give pinners a better understanding of your product. In fact, we've seen a 32% higher click-through rate driven by lifestyle images. Tip number two, add a call to action that's concise and tells the audience it's time to make that conversion. The call to action shouldn't cover any of the creative and is added to the bottom of the image or video. In your creative, use language that complements and doesn't repeat that included CTA. That's going to be towards the bottom. Also, try to avoid including smaller text that might be hard to read from the home or search feed. Tip number three, think vertically and mobile first. Most Pinterest users prefer using our app, so you're going to want to optimize your content with a vertical layout and a mobile-friendly design. This is going to improve visibility and enhance the overall user experience. Tip number four, include prominent branding with logo and/or color. You want your brand identity to shine through and pop off that feed, but do it in a thoughtful way that incorporates these brand elements without overwhelming the pin's message. And then tip number five, write clear and concise headlines to drive comprehension and remove purchase barriers. So what does that mean? The headline should be both direct and clear, as we want the audience to easily understand what your creative and product are all about. Employ relevant text overlay to convey additional information and highlight key features and product benefits. And then we also recommend you integrate moments. Think a call out for Mother's Day, graduation, or a summer barbecue, or align with trends like French tip nails or festival outfits, for example, when developing your creative. This is going to help the audience connect your product to something meaningful in their life and something that they're coming to Pinterest to find inspiration and take action on. Here we have beauty brand Clarins, who implemented some of these tips into their new campaign. The campaign showcases striking imagery and concise, action-oriented copy. Amazing work. As you can see, they implemented many of the tips I just covered. They have product and lifestyle images in their video and static ads. They thought vertically and mobile first. They included a call to action, shop now, at the end of their video ad in the bottom left there. They included tasteful branding, and they used text overlay to highlight features and benefits. Another unique thing about Pinterest is that it's all about longevity, not necessarily virality. This means that people actually spend more time in their decision-making process than users on other platforms. Jenny touched on this in her section earlier. However, what this means is that people can become less interested in an ad after seeing it too many times. And this is what we call ad fatigue. So what can you do to avoid it on Pinterest? First, change your creative after 3 months to refresh the user's perception on ads. Next, diversify your ad formats from that suite of formats that I shared earlier, and also consider running different creatives by objectives. And then lastly, we can also solve the audience saturation and fatigue problem by reaching new audiences and lowering the frequency in which they see those pins. So in short, ad fatigue can be reduced by simply updating your target audience. All right, before we wrap up this section, let's review its key takeaways. Product and lifestyle images, find that balance. Add a concise call to action or CTA that prompts the audience to convert. Think both vertical and mobile first when designing. Include that prominent branding with logo and or color from your brand identity. And then utilize headlines and text overlays and make sure that they're extremely direct and clear so the message comes through. All right, that wraps up our training for Pinterest Path to Performance. I'll walk through the 4 one more time. Number 1, adopt Pinterest lower funnel advertiser solution. Number 2, monitor and optimize your feed's health. Number 3, use the MECE approach for campaign setup. And number 4, leverage visual storytelling in creative. Our goal today was to provide you with the necessary tools and knowledge to help you optimize and up-level your campaign performance on Pinterest. By implementing the path to performance, we're certain you'll join the thousands of advertisers who've already found success on Pinterest.
Thank you so much, Andy, and to all of our presenters today for sharing all of your subject matter expertise and really hopefully helping all of you in the audience today get a better understanding of how you can, as Andy said, leverage these 4 critical steps in order to maximize your success with your lower funnel campaigns on Pinterest. Now, we have been monitoring the Q&A and there's lots of great questions here. So I want to take the last little bit of this time to sort of walk through and be able to tap into our experts to answer some of these questions. So to start, the first question we have for our group here is, how should we prioritize the 4 tactics? Are there any more critical? Is one more critical than the other? Team, I'll pass it off to you to answer. Veronica, go ahead.
Thanks, Jenny. This is a really great question. So first, I really want to emphasize that each of these 4 tactics is a key driver to achieving performance on Pinterest. And I also want to emphasize that each tactic working in concert with the other produces an outsized or sum of more than the individual parts results for you and your advertisers. With that said, we know there can be internal blockers that can cause deployment of these tactics to come out of order. So we've actually presented the tactics in the order that we would recommend prioritizing them. So first is adopting the Pinterest lower funnel solution, then feed health, followed by MECE and creative strategy. The most important part here, the key, is to understand that without each of these foundational elements, your performance won't be as successful as it would have been with them implemented.
Thank you so much, Veronica, for answering that. That's great. Okay, moving on to the next question. So the question is that I'm currently running a number of shopping campaigns, but I am not using the MECE approach. Would you suggest that I restructure them prior to the busy Q4 period? Lauren, I'll pass that to you.
Yeah, I can take this one. Good question as well. So the answer really depends on how things are going for you. If performance is already strong, then maybe now is not the right time to test something new, because an important thing to note is that when you set up a new campaign or ad group, it will go through a learning phase. So it will take some time for performance to pick up. So I suppose if you're launching a new campaign, then we absolutely recommend a MECE setup. But if you're already running a campaign and want to optimize, then I would suggest to look at reports of the campaigns by placement and by audience, and then pull out what is working and what is not, and begin to pivot towards a MECE approach. So for example, if you see that home feed prospecting is really bringing down performance, why not then remove home feed from the existing prospecting campaign and put it into its own campaign? Just actually splitting it out might improve performance, as the algorithm will then be optimizing based on that placement and that audience alone. And if not, then it's time to switch to a different approach for home feed prospecting. So it probably needs new creative, or maybe a different objective, like maybe a conversion objective instead of a catalog objective, for example.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lorna, for answering. Okay, on to the next. Is there a way to see the feed health score, for example, from our profiles?
I can take this one. So everyone, I'm Chris Edberg, the head of performance solutions here at Pinterest. So great question. So from a feed health perspective, there's a few things that we have available externally. So the first is a tool that's recently launched within Ads Manager called our diagnostic tool. This will help you find all hard errors. So as James talked about, our score starts with making sure you have ingested successfully every item that you're sending us. So the diagnostic tool today covers that component of it. From a feed health scoring perspective, the actual metadata grade, this is currently only an internal scoring metric. We are working with our product team to get this externally available. So in the meantime, this is available across all of our internal sales teams. So if you have a sales contact, you can reach out and they can get that to you directly. We're also partnering with our agency teams to make this available externally to all agencies, so we can deliver this to agency groups at scale. So if you have interest, please reach out to your agency contacts and or client contacts, and they can get you this information.
Thanks so much, Chris. Okay, we have a question around a specific promotion. So what if I'm trying to promote a tour to Europe next year for engaged couples? How do we promote since we don't have a catalog?
I can take this one again as well, Jenny. And I did try to answer one of these questions in the chat. Lorna mentioned this from a MECE setup perspective. And throughout the presentation, we did talk a lot about shopping. This all still will apply to our web conversions objective. So if you're looking to drive performance, it doesn't have to be limited to catalog sales. We have additional objectives, both consideration and web conversions, that are available to all non-shopping advertisers. The MECE framework that we work through, that also would apply here, right? So all those components of segmenting based on home feed versus search or prospecting versus targeting are still applicable, as well as the main components of the lower funnel solution, both mobile deep links, direct links. Those are applicable to non-shopping advertisers, as well as our API for conversions. So those are the components of this path to performance that apply to all, not just shopping catalogs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris, for that answer. Okay, another question related to targeting restrictions. Do they not aid in ensuring our products are tied to concerning content?
Yeah, so I can add into this one. So then the perspective on this, don't add in targeting restrictions, is relative or specific to shopping only. So this came in James' section. We're talking about feed optimization. How our system works, again, when you take an item, put it in your feed, our system will create a pin for each one of those items and then target that to relevant keywords and interest. So we won't map it to things that are not relevant to that specific pin. So for shopping specifically, don't add additional targeting restrictions. Instead, what we recommend, it goes back to the MECE approach that Lorna did talk about, right? So that segment, we want to make sure you target everybody, but in a clean and consistent way, so you can enable test and learn methodology, and let the feed, the relevancy within the feed, do your work for you from a mapping perspective. And so in addition to that, you can always add in negative keywords. Our system, we have a huge emphasis on making sure you don't show up on any, irrelevant or unsafe content. If you feel like you still want to add in negative keywords on top of that, you are free to do so. You can add in those to each individual ad group, but you shouldn't need to, because our system does it for you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much, Chris. So next question here is around budgeting. So for a more limited budget with some clients, would you still recommend MECE with 5 different campaigns, or would it spread the budget too much?
Yeah, so for this one, again, this is a common question we get. I think that, again, similar to many of our responses, this really varies client to client. It really matters on how, essentially, what visibility do you want and what level of control would you like within your campaigns. So the benefit of the 5 campaign approach as a starting point allows you to take advantage of performance that we believe you'll likely see upon activation. And what do I mean by that? So as Lorna talked about the conversion funnel, the reason we built that way is, let's say you're measuring based on Pinterest performance on a 771 or a 3031, or even last touch in a Google Analytics or Omniture. You're likely to see performance be the best at bottom funnel, so meaning dynamic retargeting. And then from there, you're likely to see retargeting, both search and home feed, perform better. And then search typically generally beats home feed, right? So with the 5 campaign approach, this will enable better control and budget distribution that you can do manually. Now, if that's too much work, we do have an option. You can build all of these same targeting settings in the segmentation at an ad group level. So our system does all of those settings at an ad group level. So you could build one campaign with all the granularity at the ad group level. And then from there, our campaign budget optimization tool would then distribute budgets on your behalf. But with that approach, you then again cede control to control those budgets directly. So really this varies, as you said, based on what spend you have, how much control, visibility are you wanting to have versus seed to the system. If you seed it to the system, and we'd still recommend that ad group segmentation. You know, we talked about a 1 bid per ad group. This applies not just to shopping, but web conversions. So that additional segmentation gives our system better ability to bid more granularly. So at a minimum, add the segmentation we talked about at an ad group level.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chris. Okay, next question is, do you recommend running conversion and catalog sales campaigns alongside each other? What about overlap?
Thank you, Jenny. This is actually a really good one, and this is one that my team does focus on quite a bit. If you're running, again, at bottom funnel, we do not recommend running shopping and web conversion simultaneously unless you're approaching this from a MECE perspective. So typically what we recommend if you want to leverage both these tactics, let shopping or catalog sales own dynamic retargeting and our search placements. This because within search, intent is at its highest, right? Someone's actively seeking information about a specific product or a keyword or a query, right? So from there, we recommend leveraging shopping to align to that specific intent. Now, if you would like to run our web conversions with various, other creatives, that's where we would, again, remove shopping from home feed and then allow web conversion and all that static creative to own and drive optimization there. But if you run them both simultaneously, think of if you're on Google and you put a keyword in 2 different campaigns, the system on Google wouldn't know what to do with that, right? It would be complete overlap. And so the system would have to pick to serve one or the other. So that same thing would happen here. So typically if you're going to look to activate both tactics at the bottom of funnel, you would want to make sure you align to that MECE approach. There's no overlap, so there's no conflict between the campaigns.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Chris and team, for all of your great answers. And thank you everybody for participating and submitting your questions for us all. We have 1 minute to the end of our webinar today. So before I let you all leave, we just wanted to say another huge thank you for joining us today. We really hope that this training provided you with the information and tactical tips that you can implement to really up-level your performance on Pinterest. Now, there's always opportunities to learn more about Pinterest, and you can do so through our Pinterest Academy. There are courses such as API for conversions, campaign objectives, creative strategies, uploading your catalog, and more. So please do visit the Pinterest Academy to dive into more courses and continue to up-level your understanding and your ability to drive performance on Pinterest. With that, again, I thank you on behalf of myself and all of the presenters. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for your interest and your continued participation and investment in Pinterest. And we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks, everyone.
Apple pie and the sharpshooter, I'm winning the overtime like it's sharpshooter. I feel like I'm intruding. She's a friend of mine in the alibi, in the getaway car in overdrive like it's sharpshooter. I like